Tony, welcome to Next Fest. Strategy? I mean, it's basically I don't really play strategy games, but the strategy games I do play are usually deck builders, and usually some sort of board game thing. I've played a game called Cryptmaster this time, which is, I would say, like I didn't finish Legend of Grimrock, but I did enjoy playing the Legend of Grimrock, and it's more like up that alley. So maybe those old school dungeon crawlers you can add to the list of kind of strategy games that I like. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the first 5 minutes of Stellaris, and then past that point, I'm like, well, I hate the rest of the game.
Are you pleased to know they try and slow down the start of the game a little bit? So.
Oh yeah, I love the start of Stellaris because it's like you get one spaceship and you get to go and explore. Yeah. It's like the space age in Spore, and I'm like, I like the space age of Spore, and then the rest of the game I don't enjoy.
They've done more to add to that. When you last played, though, how did planets look? Were there tiles or were there job lists?
I don't fucking remember, to be honest with you, Tony.
Okay. And so there's technically more to do to start there. Anyway,
Tangerine. Let's talk about Balatro, because this game, I think it's probably my favorite demo from the Demo Fest, for sure. One of my favorites ever, maybe, potentially. I was immediately hooked on this. The premise is, it's poker as a deck builder, and then you would go, but that makes no sense. So it's poker as a deck builder, but your deck is 52 cards. It's a standard poker deck. And it's like, well, why would you want to add more cards to a poker deck? Well, I mean, one of the usual poker win conditions is like 3 of a kind. If you have 5 queens instead of 4, you can much easily get 4 of a kind. I think I think you can even technically get 5 of a kind. It's just not listed. I saw from people posting online.
Isn't there technically a way to like delete cards, like really like stack your odds to getting?
Yeah, you can remove cards. Basically, so you play rounds of poker, and there's a blind that you have to get your chips up to, and the way you earn points is each hand has a value of like base chips and multiplayer, and so it's like additive plus multiplicative maths, and the higher the better the hand is, the more chips and the more multiplier you get. Then the base amount of chips you get is added on from the value of the card. So ace is the highest at 11. Face cards are 10, like your kings, your queens, your jacks, and then 10, 9, you get the rest. So I got 2 pair here, so it's adding together the value of my 2 pairs, and then a 2 pair is 20, so it's at plus 20, and then it's timesing it by 2. So here I have 3 of a kind, which is pretty good. I'm one off getting a flush here, because I got 4 hearts. There's no royal flush in this game. That is something I did notice. That is a very standard poker hand. And then, so, if you don't specifically know the poker hands, I had a rough understanding of poker hands, but you can always check what hands you need. So there's straights, which is, counting up. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 as a hand, right? Or, ace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because ace is 11 or 1, right?
Yeah,
but it's worth it's always worth 11 chips in this game.
Yeah, but it can still be a 1 or 11.
The amount of detail they put into this game is like, I was playing another roguelike deck builder before, and the thing I always find annoying about other deck builders is when I play them, I'm always like, yeah, this is pretty fun, but Slay the Spire is so well made that it has all these like small things that add together to make it like one of the most polished games ever. Like whenever you play a deck builder, like as someone who has like 200 plus hours in Slay the Spire, I think you're always going to have to be compared to that, because I can always go back and play more Slay the Spire instead of playing your game.
It's either be different enough. But
this game is very different, and it also is very well polished.
Yeah.
So you can constantly look at your deck. You can see what you have coming up, what you've already played. You can, it has all those small polished things. It's like, here's how many hands you have left, how many discards you have left. So every time you beat the blind, so you have a set amount of hands you're allowed to play in order to beat the blind, and you have 3 discards per battle. If you don't get to the blind amount before you run out of hands, then you end the run. That's the end of the game, right? And based on the amount of hands you have left at the end, that's how much money you get for the shop. So it's always good to try and end the game earlier so you have more hands. Then that allows you to buy jokers. Jokers really make the game interesting because they will give you a bonus effect. And there's some really crazy ones. I love the art in the jokers and I love their effects. So the base one you get for the tutorial is you get just +4 multiplayer. So just a passive +4 multiplayer is huge, especially like late game. Like playing a game like a Diablo or like a dungeon crawler game where you're just thinking about like numbers through like I'm somebody who wouldn't say they're very good at math, but I understand math's a lot easier when it's in like a gamified way. And I love like crunching numbers of like, oh well, overpowered in Diablo is additive because you're taking a flat number, so it's really good early game. But stuff like crit and haste is multiplicative. So like late game, that thing is going to be like in the millions, the fucking billions numbers, right? Yeah. Because multiplicative is always going to be like just a massive stim if you've got like huge flat numbers. And it's always like trying to balance that. And that part of my brain, I love playing around with that part of the brain. And this game triggers that so hard. It's a strategy game for me, sort of thing. Like I like poker. And I like that sort of math, right? So what I did there, you can buy tarot cards. And what these tarot cards do is they let you upgrade cards on the fly. And I've upgraded these queens.
Permanent upgrades.
Yeah, permanent upgrades. So now when I play these queens,
on the fly.
When I match these queens, they give me a +3 multiplier. So I've got a flat +4 plus a +3 multiplier, so you can tell. And they're queens as well, which are face cards. So they have a flat rate of +10 chips. So you can already tell this hand is going to be a banger of a hand. Because you're going to get so many chips just straight off this hand. Like, immediately you can start going ham in this game. And I think, Tony, I sat and I played, and I was streaming this to you, and I sat and I played it for like 10 hours. Not 10, 2 hours straight, right?
Yeah. It was quite late.
I was immediately hooked. You were like, I gotta go to bed. And I'm like, I gotta keep playing Balatro.
One more.
Yeah, one more turn. Like,
yeah, it's very interesting because I was trying to figure out at the site like what you can actually do with the deck, but they actually have a lot of interesting. There's a lot of interesting things you can change and
yes, you get tarot cards that give you let you upgrade your deck. Jokers, which give you a permanent stat upgrade. Planets are really important. I didn't realize this early game, but planets upgrade your win conditions, like your pairs, and they make them more powerful. And Tony, I think you went to bed, but because I said, I already have a level 1 planet. If you buy that, it levels it up. So you can level them up as well, make them more powerful. I grabbed the hand vouchers because they cost 10, but they basically give you another hand. And why I think hands are so strong in this game is because if you need an extra hand, it makes you strong enough to win the fight. But if you don't need the hand and you end the game with an extra hand, that's +1 gold. So a hand is not only tempo power, it's also economy, which I think why you should always buy hand vouchers when you can. Tony, I play a lot of I play like Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Like, I know my card games, and I think hand vouchers are I think you just always buy them. I think they're objectively always good.
That's correct.
But yeah, I fucking love this game. It is so... Let's get to a later game point and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so here I have 5 jokers, so I can sort of explain what's going on here. One of my favorites, Odd Todd. Oh, Tony, I have stone cards in my deck. So I got a tarot card that let me convert any card into a stone card, which stops it being a number card or having a suit, but it gives +50 chip. So what you want to do is you want to take these low-cost cards, like a 3 or a 2, and turn it into like a stone card. And it's like, well, now it's worth 50 chips. I then have another joker called Odd Todd, which means every time you match a odd card, it gives you plus 30 chips. I then have the Fortune Teller, which gives me... every time I use a tarot card, it gives me a multiplicative bonus, which is awesome because I was playing... it was like a tarot card build. Then I have Reserve Parking, which is really cool because every time I end the turn with a face card in my... It's a great economy joker, which you want to take early mid-game.
It gives you money before the round, before the games.
Every hand that you end on with a face card in your hand, it gives you a 50-50 chance to get plus $1, which is really strong.
Yeah.
Then,
and I quite like the last one.
My last joker is it takes the smallest number in my hand and then multiplies my multiplier by that. So like
doubling the lowest card.
Yeah.
Multiplier.
So you can see where this goes crazy. And Tony, like, you went to bed. I got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm strong enough. So I took my economy joker, because you can sell your jokers, and I traded it in for... I got Odd Todd's brother. I got Even Steven. And what Even Steven does is he makes it so when you play even matches, it adds a bunch of points to your multiplier. And there's even like because you open card packs in this game, and it's like that. I was talking about this with you before. I was like, Dave the Diver is a Skinner box game, and I was explaining how, like, I think it was on the podcast. I was saying like Skinner box games are games that like trigger certain things in your brain. Like poker is designed, the flashing lights on a slot machine are meant to trigger things in your brain to make you want to keep playing, right? And a game like Dave the Diver is set up in a way where it like triggers you to be addictive and keep you playing, right? Which is a lot of how gambling's set up to get money out of you. But games like Balatro or Dave the Diver are set up with those Skinner box mechanics, but they're done in an ethical way where they're not trying to get money out of you. They're just doing it for the fun of the game, right? So we're odd-todding aces, which is nuts, because odd-todds are hardest hit. Then we're getting our multiplier from our tarot cards. And then we're also getting... I'm actually throwing away the 4 pair because I want a higher, lower card to my hand because it adds double of the lowest card in my hand. So, like... And I'm thinking about this on the fly because you're going to have a completely different run to me. But this is like how I... Because you can basically get jokers that are like, oh, +1 multiplier for every club card you play. And it's like, well, my deck's a club deck. I want more clubs. And like, you can get tarot cards that will convert your entire hand into club cards. So you can literally get rid of all your diamonds and hearts and stuff. You can be like, well, this is a club deck now, which is really cool. But there is like
you have to be careful of some bosses.
There's certain... Every small blind you play has a mechanic. No, each blind you play doesn't have a mechanic, but there's a boss, and a boss has a mechanic. So one of the mechanics I came across was the effect of all club cards is nullified. So you've been in a lot of trouble if you upgraded a lot of club cards. Like you can get rare cards from packs. You can get effects that let you add stamps onto cards. That you'll take like a 3 of clubs, but it also has like a purple stamp on it. And what I had was every time you discard this card, you gain a tarot card. And I was like, that's nuts. I'm playing a tarot card deck. So I was constantly trying to discard that. So I'm getting +14 multiplayer because the lowest card in my hand is a 7. So you can tell like you can go fucking crazy with the hands, and it just keeps going. Like, I ended my run because I died. Oh, here's the purple seal I was talking about. So I immediately want to discard that. But you also have to keep in account you have a limited amount of discards per game. So I'm thinking, oh, well, do I want to discard that as a single discard? But if I discard more cards, then I'll get more value from the discard. But how many of these do I want to hold on to? Because I have a pair of 7s. Aces are good. It's like very high value. there's no royal flush, but face cards are always worth, very good base chips. So you want to hold on to your face cards. And I also want to hold on to face cards only because I have reserved parking. And the cool thing about reserved parking is every face card is money. It's economy.
Yeah.
Can you tell how insane I sound? But I'm like, you need odd Todd and even Steven, but you want reserve parking so you can get the double flip bonus.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you listen to me speak, you're like, you have no idea what I'm saying, but it makes so much sense in the concept, like in the actual, the context of the game.
And this was just one run.
It's just one run.
There's quite a lot of change, things we saw, but they didn't want to get because you were going a different build.
I'm like, and you unlock, and you can unlock new cards to play with as you play. Like it has an unlock system, and there was even a button that said, "Hey, you can just unlock everything immediately if you don't want to use the game's progression." I don't know if that was just for the demo, but if it's for the full game, I think that's cool as well. Like people are like, "Well, I just want to play with all the cards." I like the system, like they do it in Slay the Spire, where you play a new character, and as you play that character, you get that feedback loop of unlocking new cards for that character. I quite like that.
Yeah, it's it makes it interesting to play.
So I'm discarding a pair here, but it increases the highest card in my deck for my Communist Fist looking ass Joker card, and also I'm discarding the tarot card thing. Oh, the Fool is really cool as well because it creates the last tarot card of planet that you played as a duplicate, but the last card I played was a tarot card, so technically I'm playing 2 tarot cards, which then gives me double fortune teller value, which is like nuts. Tony, I've been talking about this game for 16 minutes. I fucking love this game. I love it so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics, but I think you explained.
Like I could have kept playing runs because I think the demo's still up, but I think I'm just gonna wait for the full game to come out and then really dump time into that. Like I can't wait to play this on like my Steam Deck. Like I think it's gonna go crazy on Steam Deck. Like I played so much Slay the Spire on my Steam Deck as well, and I played so much Slay the Spire on my phone as well. I think it's a good mobile format. I love the music. It has this great CRT shader, which I've turned up to max because I love the CRT shader and how everything looks. Like it's very reminiscent of those old school video poker machines you get in like Vegas and stuff. Like I've played them on Tower Unite and stuff. Tower Unite's another great Skinner box game that lets you do like ethical gambling. There is no negative to gambling in the game. It's just for the fun of doing gambling.
Yeah.
But yeah, Balatro, Tony. I'll show you my holographic because I don't think you got to see that.
No, I didn't.
Here's my holographic cards are really good, so you can get rare version of cards. Holographics give you baseline plus 10.
Oh, okay.
On top of their effect.
Well, you got 216 times 45. What the hell?
But this is the boss I ultimately died on. The mechanic was really hard because every time you drew cards, after every hand, the cards you drew were face down, and even though I could sort my hand to try and guess what cards I was playing, it was a really hard mechanic to get around. So another mechanic I should briefly explain before we move on. You can skip a fight, you can skip a blind to get a buff. So sometimes you'll get like a planet, or you get like a positive effect, right? But every time you skip an encounter, you lose an opportunity to get money or to discard a purple card to get another tarot card, right? Like generally, you don't want to skip a fight unless it's a really tough fight you think you're going to struggle on. Or there was even blinds that were like, if you skip this blind, you can use it to re-roll the boss's blind. Like his ability. Like I wish I re-rolled this blind because I think this one was really hard to play around. So when I play the full game, I'm going to be looking out for this one and trying to avoid it potentially because I think this one's like a run ender sort of scenario for me at least. Like until I like play the game more and I can kind of smartly guess what cards I got.
That'll double the target, right? If you with the player get rid of the negative.
Yeah, I think it was something crazy like that. But also, What was I going to say? The whole time I was playing this, I just kept going odd Todd, odd. Like I loved odd Todd, and I can't believe I got even Steven in the same run as well. Holographic, no less.
Yeah,
Pair of jacks. I don't really know what else I can go here because I have no idea what these faces. I should just play the face down cards because then I can re-roll them. But every hand I play is face down, so maybe I want to play less. I think for this you actually want to play. You want to throw away less cards because every card you play is face down, and you want to utilize your discards to discard face down cards. I think that's how you play this blind.
Right.
Maybe if I utilize that better. Like constantly, every hand I'm just sitting and I'm thinking constantly, like, what's the best play here?
Yeah, it's good that hallmark of a good card game.
Let's talk about Cryptmaster. Cryptmaster is like a old school dungeon crawling game that essentially you explore by typing words out to interact with objects. I think the art style is really cool. It's got that like black and white, almost like graphic novel look to it. I think I turned the volume down like way too low at the beginning, so I'm struggling to hear what he's saying. There we go. Towards the light. But it's like, in order to progress... Oh, I'm trying to press W to move forward, and I'm like, oh yeah, shit, I need to use the arrow keys, which I haven't used in a long time. Is that you, Jesus? Oh, that's what I'm typing. You need to be able to type with a keyboard, so you don't actually use the mouse at all, really, in this game. It's a full keyboard game. But the way it works... You'll find a chest, and you want to open chests to get more letters, because those letters make you type more words, which let you do, like, attacks and stuff, and you need that for the combat section. So you'll find chests which have... Oh, I was trying to lick the bug. Sorry, I have to let my cat out. You will find these chests, and to unlock the chest, the guy will describe an object, and you can type words to get him to give you different descriptions of that object. So for me, for example, so you have to type the names of these people to get through the wall, and I'm sure there'll be different puzzles like this throughout the game. So you have like a party, and each party member has their own attack, but you need to discover the letters to use their attack. So Joro, my main character, I think he had like hit, H-I-T, which I got the letters to. So I could do a hit attack, but then I had like kick. I think it was boot. I think I typed boot and I could kick people down, which would stun them for a bit.
So you're guessing what's in the chest here, right?
Yeah.
You got...
So I can type, so if I type like feel, he'll go, oh, it feels very heavy and it feels almost, rough. Or like, my favorite thing to do is, I always like to start off everything by licking it, and he's like, tastes metallic. And I'm like, metallic, is that a sword?
I do like the humor of this game. It's kind of, I like the way this guy speaks. It's very ghoulish.
Well,
he's
very much like
ghoulish proper.
A Cryptmaster. He's like one of those creepy D&D masters, I guess.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And the way he describes like a really mundane object, you're like, oh, that's what he's talking about.
So you have to spend a turn guessing what it was. I thought it was a sword, but so there was a mode that let you use your microphone, and it said only turn this mode on if your neighbors aren't worried about your sanity. And I was like, oh, obviously I want to turn that on now. So I turned it on, but I couldn't get it to work. I had no idea. I was talking into my microphone, trying to type out words. Yeah, I could not figure out the voice mode for the life of me. Hopefully that's changed in the full version. So the kind of the general story is this Cryptmaster, you were all dead adventurers, But he resurrects you in order to basically escape this crypt. So you have no choice but to work for this guy because you're like reanimated corpses.
Do you remember what this thing is called?
So we couldn't guess what this was because I think
Michael said helmet, and it's too late. I guess the shield.
No, that's not right.
But it was a helmet.
Oh wait, even I know this one.
But the game's like, it can give you like extra clues to guess by as like an option, and I turned that on because I found that really helpful.
Yeah.
You're going
It might pop up in a second.
a headache though. I suppose I could. My memory is my power.
So he put some chest hint notes in. And I think you can turn it on and off in the options if you want it to be harder or easier, which I really appreciate someone who's constructed alternatively brain, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's if you don't once you know the answer, like you go, oh, obviously, but it's like
Hot.
I don't know, kind of
What are you
difficult.
trying to describe?
So yeah, you have to guess what their skills are. So I figured out that my main guy could hit. I couldn't for the life of me figure out any of my other guys' abilities.
So, do you want to do that, or do you want me to do that? Either way, it's not.
Is it not yell?
Maybe.
No, we're traveling.
What was his class?
If I let
What did he
start
do?
picking things
I don't know, because I could never... I think yell was probably the correct answer, but I didn't figure that out because I'm stupid.
I'm just trying to have anything. I guess tell, but
I'll go to... Oh, you always start with the left.
lick.
old and dusty inside papery.
I feel like I just like the interaction. Like
I just like
it's
making this guy lick things. That's pretty much my whole thing.
waiting for his interaction is kind of funny. I like that.
I'll just skip to some combat so we can show that off. So yeah, you have to like, you can do attacks, but they're on like a timer, and then your letters of the characters are like their health bar as well. I think the game maybe expected me to figure out different attacks, because you switch between the characters. So in the downtime of the other attacks, you switch to the other characters and you use their attacks.
Oh, you press.
But I only figured out hit. So I was just like spent the entire combat almost dying, just trying to type hit on cooldown, because that's the only ability I could. I figured out hit and boot.
I guess now you know some more. I don't know.
But there was an altar, so there's an altar to heal, but the altar heals people of the light.
Right.
So, and you're resurrected, and it's like, well, you're dead. I'm not gonna fucking
mean the weapon?
Heal you.
Shield.
Welcome, friends.
I really like the voice acting in this. I can't tell if it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's AI generated. I think the guy said he voiced it himself, which is really cool to see.
Into the bliss of my ardent but entirely platonic embrace.
Wait a minute, are you dead?
Soothe yourselves in the. Oh, wait.
Wait, so in order to use this temple,
Which means it's for the living only.
you have to desecrate it in order to turn it into corrupted temple. So my immediate thought was, well, obviously if I type in sex, it's not going to let me desecrate the temple that way. Yeah, it does. It lets you type that in.
What will you do?
Wait, what are you doing?
Oh yes, commence the debauchery.
It's so funny.
I looked on, but that's how you heal in the game. You can go back to that statue and heal up again, which I did several times because again, the combat was on hard mode for me because I only figured out how to attack with one character on a cooldown. So I'm guessing the demo was assuming that people wouldn't be as dumb as me, but there's dozens of us. What was I gonna
I'm
say?
trying to figure out what the app
I
was.
looked
I
on.
couldn't figure out
I
what
looked
app
on the
was.
community hub for this game. Apparently, somebody pissed in the fountain to desecrate it. That's an acceptable answer. I do love the freedom that this game gives.
Paper, so it tastes papery.
Oh, this paper tastes very papery.
It's a thin
I was like, oh, that's a map. But yeah, I think this game's really interesting. I'm excited to see more. Eventually, you get to a point where he makes you sacrifice your, like, you have to commit to helping him out with dark power. And you know those bugs I was looking at on the wall?
Yeah.
You actually do consume their souls to gain power. So you actually do want to find those
they
bugs.
have souls?
Yep. I like this guy. He's like, this is another great section. He's like, oh, no dead may pass here. Are you dead? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, wait, you could be lying. What was the last piece of fruit you ate? I was like, I ate some peaches. And he was like, oh, okay. If you were a dead person, you wouldn't know what the sun was like. Describe the sun. And I was like, I think I typed warm. I was like, the sun is warm. And then he was like, well, that's good enough for me. You're alive. But yeah, I think this game has like very good art style and very good humor.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see.
I don't want the combat. Just remove the combat.
Yeah,
only
I
have the
actually think the combat was my least favorite part, but that was mostly because of
Yeah, maybe it's better with more stuff.
yeah, because I just didn't figure out the other words. This is the final game. This is Dicemancer. And the best way, it's a roguelike deck builder, but the best way I could describe it is kind of a mix of like Slay the Spire with Magic the Gathering elements. I would say you have like a mana system, but you also have like a colored mana system.
Oh, okay.
So you can have like blue spells that need you to, and the way you get blue mana is by like basically trading away a card of that color. And then you gain a mana of that color, and that lets you attack with them.
Isn't that how? I think that's like how like the Warcraft deck building that isn't Hearthstone used to work.
No, the actual physical card game, the WoW TCG.
Yeah, I'm vaguely remembering because that's what Toad basically used to play like in background in sometimes like. After he stopped playing WoW, but it's sort of mailbox stuff. So
I think that's the base mechanics. It's very much just like a Slay the Spire, like roguelike deck builder. I think the really interesting thing comes in where they introduce this dice mechanic. Why is this piggy so strong? Here's a super strong dice card. So they give you this one dice card, and they're like, if you use this, it can permanently change any number inside the game. So you can change his health bar. You can change your health bar. You can change your mana bar. You can change how much damage he's dealing. You can change how much armor he has. And it's all on the results of a random dice roll. And there's even cards that will let you get better dice rolls. So you could be like, well, I've got 1 mana, but you could build a deck that has bonuses to dice roll, and then you re-roll your mana into 12, so you have 12 mana, and then you just start I could see crazy builds you can do with these dices already.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though.
I think because this is the tutorial section. I was like, oh, I have to make his health very low, and then I have to use this special grenade. This special grenade deals 99 damage to everything, including myself. So I kept dying to it because I was like, well, with this dice roll, I can never get over 20 health. I think one thing the game doesn't do a very good job of explaining is you can actually re-roll the numbers on the actual grenade itself. But it's really finicky to do through the UI. Hang on, I'll show you me attempting to do that. Because I kept killing myself over and over again. I was like, how the fuck do you solve this? Because here's me trying to get the numbers. Every time I go into the card, trying to select the numbers, it goes to the next card. I'm like, oh, wait. You can select the card and bring it up close, and that's how you do it. I wish that was tutorialized a bit better.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to give him 6 health on both of his health bars. I'm going to deal 99 damage to him, and then I'm going to take 1 damage. by getting. I'm gonna turn his thick skin to 3, and then I'm gonna, bam. I think the animations are quite cute and cool as well.
Yeah, that's funny.
But the cool thing is, because you use this chaos mechanic, you have this mechanic called purple mist that slowly travels towards you. So you can actually go back and take different paths, but if you do, you run the risk of going into the purple mist. And when you go if you go into the purple mist, I think it has like really hard enemies in it, so you really don't want to go in the purple mist.
Is that the space captain? What is that called? Yeah, like a small crew on a spaceship.
Yeah. Oh, FTL.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like that.
But yeah, I think this is a really cool game. I think ultimately, it didn't it's not like a game where like this could replace Slay the Spire for me, like a game like Balatro could. But I think when they added the chaos dice mechanic and the chaos chase mechanic, I think that really elevates it a lot, especially with the Magic the Gathering style, like different colored mana pools. I think it is an interesting game to play, and I could see myself playing this game at some point, and I think it would be a good game to play again. But I think it's not a game that's immediately like hooking me, like, oh, I need to play this game right now. That's how I feel about it, right?
Yeah. It is very interesting, but yeah, not like all consuming.
Yeah, I think it's generally a really cool game, but
yeah,
I think it has some cool mechanics. But I think a game like Balatro is just so well polished and immediately hooked me, and I was like, yeah, I have to play more of this, But yeah, that is the Tangerine on strategy / card game / licking paper in dungeons. So yeah, some really good ones there.
And hitting.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.